Connecting the Dots, Reliving Northwoods History with Carrie Bladorn.
Roads. We often take them for granted. Driving 55 miles an hour down a nicely paved road is a luxury travelers in the Northwoods didn't have 150 years ago. Some of the roads we use today follow some of the first roads built in the state of Wisconsin. One such road was the Old Military Road, also known as the Old Militaire. A historical marker on Highway 55 near Lilly, Wisconsin commemorates the early Northwoods Byway. This once vital link through the northern wilderness connected Fort Howard at Green Bay and Fort Wilkins at Copper Harbor on Lake Superior. An overland route connecting Green Bay with Lake Superior copper country had been proposed in the 1840s, but Congress was slow to act considering the railroads were slowly but surely moving northward. The Civil War, started in 1861, spurred the need for a road to remote Fort Wilkins. During the war, it was feared that Great Britain might take up sides with the Confederacy. If transportation on Lake Michigan and Superior were cut off, there needed to be a way to move troops quickly overland to America's northern border. At the same time, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan was an important resource for copper and iron ore. Building a road would allow better access and communications to the area, since its water routes were inaccessible during the winter. In 1863, President Lincoln signed an act of Congress which allowed for the building of a road between the two forts, Howard and Wilkins. Payment for its construction would be given in land grants alongside its route through the Great Pinery, a lucrative deal on the cusp of the logging boom. Construction began at both ends of the proposed 220-mile road, and contracts given out to interested parties. The agreement stipulated a road built with a 33-foot cleared right-of-way on either side of the center line, a travel surface no less than 22 feet wide, raised 18 inches above the surrounding landscape, with appropriate ditches and bridges to permit passage year-round. In essence, it was to be the best thoroughfare built into the Northwoods at the time. Starting at Green Bay's Fort Howard, the road went to Shawano, then north to Virgin Lake, continuing to Anvil Lake, about 9 miles east of Eagle River, on to Phelps, Lac Vieux des Aires, to the Michigan border passing Watersmeet, then to Rockland, Michigan, where it headed due northeast to Winona, on to Houghton, and up the Keweenaw Peninsula to Fort Wilkins at the mouth of the Ontonagon River. The road roughly followed an ancient Native American footpath known as the Superior Trail, which had been traveled for hundreds of years. Since construction of the road took place during the peak of the Civil War, manpower was hard to come by, and a project that was only supposed to take 5 years became a grueling task. Building a road through the wild Northwoods of Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula of Michigan with little more than hand tools and draft animals took longer than expected. With the number of extensions given, it was finally completed in 1873, well after the war was over. The military road was only used for its intended purpose for a short time. As legislators predicted, the movement of mail and supplies was overtaken by railroads in the 1880s. And by the turn of the century, the Old Militaire was being used by lumbering interests and communities along its route. The road was used into the early 1900s, and by 1920, parts of it were integrated into the Michigan and Wisconsin state highway system. Much of the Old Military Road has been replaced by Highways 55 and 45 in Wisconsin and Michigan's Highway 26, but parts of it still follow the original roadbed and are still passable today. This section of the road in the Three Lakes area still follows its original route and looks much like it did 150 years ago, with a little extra pavement. The Old Military Road played a crucial role in the history of the region. It connected two strategically important forts, facilitated trade and settlement, and left a lasting legacy as an important piece of Northwoods history. I'm Carrie Bladorn, and this is Connecting the Dots on Newswatch 12.
Connecting the Dots, Reliving Northwoods History with Carrie Bladorn.
Thank you for watching Connecting the Dots, Reliving Northwoods History. If you have some history you'd like to see covered on the program, send me a message on my Facebook page, Carrie Bladorn, Northwoods Historian, or shoot me an email at northwoodshistorian@gmail.com.